Hello friends, welcome to our channel We the Demigods Motivational. Would you like to be happier? Do you know what it feels like to be truly fulfilled and living your best life? We all see the world with our own perceptions. Understanding brain science research can help us with our perception towards life. When we are studying or working, more than 50% of the time we shy away from staying on schedule and feel disengaged. Imagine if we are able to recover this percentage of our learning. Will that not enhance our learning capacity or save as many work hours and make work more productive and enjoyable? Once we have our sense of purpose, research has proven that we will be feeling 65% more motivated and show up on time to achieve what we are supposed to achieve. We feel a sense of value, belonging, and feel engaged rather than feeling drained out or stressed and anxious. Imagine you get up in the morning and are all charged up to start your day with learning, or you go to work and feel the sense of respect and belonging. Will you not want to put in your 100% into your work? Unfortunately, there is no word in English that explains this. There is a word in Nordic countries called Absgloth, which means happiness at work. Learning to be happy at work, investing in happiness is crucial for our individuals and our well-beings. We have to start investing in our happiness. So let's talk about the pursuit of happiness. Overcoming nature's brain wiring. Do you remember the Stone Age? Our brain has evolved for survival, not for happiness. It means that your brain is more wired to remember the negative experiences more vividly than the positive ones. Take media for an example. Media houses are also exploiting human psychology, and as they want you to remember them, and hence they are focusing on negative news, even though there is a lot more good happening in the world than the bad. This is why most of us today are experiencing a rise in depression, anger, and anxiety. In a research, students were trained on how to harness brain science for improved happiness and well-being. They were told, happiness is possible. Neuroplasticity is a remarkable aspect of brain science that reveals our brain is able to rewire itself. Also, most of the time, our brain responds to perceived threat to survival, and that may not be a real threat to survival, like being chased by a lion. Are you being chased by a lion? You are not. But if you get an unexpected exam, you get a really high anxiety, and that stops you from studying, perceiving that the exam is a greater threat to your existence. All you have to do when such thoughts occur is to begin to discern what the cause of that anxiety or that stress is. Think calmly. What is giving you stress? Is it something you can control? 95% of the cases, the answer is going to be yes. Our brain is like a plastic. It's malleable. It can change itself. What that means is we are not hijacked by our thoughts and behaviors. So if you are driven by negative thinking, there is good news. You can change this, but it takes work. Happiness is a practice. What is the difference between pleasure and happiness? Many people confuse pleasure with happiness. There is a huge difference. Brain science research suggests that activities that promote survival, whether it's enjoying your favorite food or whether it's sleep, are all behaviors actually related to pleasure. Because they're pleasurable, we keep doing them. We keep sleeping. We keep eating. If we didn't, you wouldn't survive. So in this way, pleasure is deeply embedded in the same way that survival or stress is in your brain. Actually, pleasure has a limited shelf life. Happiness has no expiration date. Suppose you're having dessert and you love a dish. Now, the pleasure, that is pleasure because when you're eating it, the taste only remains for a certain amount of time. Then it goes away. But happiness doesn't. It has no expiration dates. Will studying more and more give happiness? Or will earning more and more give you more happiness? There was a study done by Boston Consultancy Services a few years ago. They questioned millionaires in different income brackets. Brackets were 1 to 5 million, 5 to 10, 10 to 25, and so on. They asked the same question. Do you believe that your current net worth brings you a sense of satisfaction in your life? Over 50% of the questioned said no. Their current salary did not give them the sense of well-being and the sense of satisfaction. Then the questionnaires asked, how much net worth do you believe you need to experience this sense of fulfillment? And the answer was always the same, double. What does this mean? We are never satisfied with what we have. Of course, we are not talking about survival here. Research suggests that more happiness is more finding, and it's more about finding the meaning in your life. Pleasure is not the same as happiness. You can find happiness in your study or work by discovering a deeper sense of purpose, a deeper sense of meaning in what you do. Change is constant in life and the universe. Happiness equals acceptance of change. Suffering equals resistance to change. Our brain is fundamentally a social organ that has evolved for community, for belonging, and for a tribe. Imagine yourself in this scenario. You're all by yourself. It's cold. You're hungry. You haven't eaten in a while, and maybe you haven't slept in a couple of days. And to make it even more menacing, the sound of hungry predators are nearby, and it's getting dark. Pretty terrifying, huh? Now imagine, would your chances for survival increase if you had one more person, able-bodied person, with you that you trusted? The answer is yes. Now imagine if you had 5 other people, or 10, or 50, or 100. This would make a feeling or a belonging of a tribe. This is something really important to understand. We're discovering this as something about the brain having developed as a social organ. We humans are not the strongest animals. We're not the fastest, not the tallest. We can't breathe underwater. We can't fly naturally. So what is it that allowed humans to become the predominant species on the planet? That is one winning strategy that human excelled at more than all other creatures was the ability to form into complex social networks, into tribes, whether it's at work or in your family or in your life. Making real-time connections is the key for investing in your happiness. Trusting your social brain. Most of us are disconnected in an over-connected world. We live in our devices. We are on our phones, our tablets, our computers pretty much 24/7, whether it's at work or at home. And the research is showing something quite remarkable. This addiction to technology might appear as if it were a sabotage of your happiness. Why is that? Connecting in real time, in person, is what your brain is evolved for. When you collaborate with friends, or when you feel that you can share your thoughts, your advice, or even your insights with others, it allows for a greater level of trust to take place within the team or within a group. Greater trust develops greater happiness, developing greater success, and hence technology should complement face-to-face interactions and connections and will not be effective in isolation. Let's talk about the 3 pillars of happiness: comfort, connection, and compassion. The very first pillar, comfort. A culture of comfort means anyone who comes into the school or workplace feels that they are safe, secure, and that there's a sense of stability. One of my favorite quotes by Eric Schmidt, the executive chairman of Google, is, "In a networked world, trust is the most important currency." I love that quote. Another statistic that I find very interesting regarding the education world is that nearly 50% of the students believe that lack of trust hampers their knowledge and pursuit of finding purpose. Having greater trust in educational institutes will bring about innovation, resilience, and ultimately improve the human life. More so than financial rewards, something far more important to the human brain are psychological rewards. The reward of feeling recognized, valued, for feeling acknowledged, and for the work that you've contributed to the tribe. The second pillar, connection. As I stated previously, we are disconnected in an over-connected world. All of us have our devices that we're on constantly. But social media or feeling connected online isn't the same as feeling connected in real time. Let's face it, your brain did not evolve for social media. It evolved for social connection in real time with people. Why is this connection so important? You're feeling a need for connection to people in your family. It cultivates a social brain. Connection to new ideas. When people come together with new ideas, you get something remarkable taking place. Connection generates innovation. The third pillar, compassion. The last pillar I want to share with you is that of compassion, and why compassion is so important in investing in your happiness. To help this understanding, I'd like to share with you a story, a true story about 9/11, which took place in the aftermath of that calamity. As many people know, 9/11 in New York was a day of deep tragedy, but it was also a day of deep heroism and empathy and compassion. Something called Operation Boat Lift took place. In the course of 9 hours, random sea vessels, from garbage trucks to corporate vessels to tugboats to ferries, came to the southern sea wall of Manhattan by Wall Street and rescued over 500,000 people in the course of 9 hours, due to the fact that all other modes of transportation were no longer possible. There is an empathetic response that we humans have. Other animals have it too. So suppose when you hear a baby crying or you see someone in distress, regardless of who that person is, we want to help them. We want to do the right thing and come to that person's rescue. Let's talk about how to apply these pillars of comfort, contribution, connection, and compassion to help you invest in your happiness. So how does this all tie together? How do all these pillars, comfort, connection, and compassion, allow all of you to invest in your happiness? Well, the key is very simple. Happy brains make happy people, and happy people make a happy environment. So it all starts with you. So when you individually begin to promote and practice these pillars, this allows you not only to experience happiness in your own daily life, this now has a ripple effect around the people that you study or work with. I believe in these principles. Always have an open mind. Eat healthy, take exercise and adequate sleep. Live life with passion. Take time to reflect, create a diary of positive experiences. Explore the world and travel. Always be true to yourself. You can't control everything and you don't have to. Always maintain your self-belief. Show your appreciation. Cherish the people that you love. The science of smiling. What happens to our brain when we smile? Let's say you experience a positive situation and you see a friend you haven't met in a very long time. This means that neural signals travel from the cortex to your brain, to the brainstem, which is the oldest part of our brains. From there, the cranial muscle carries the signal forward towards the smiling muscle in your face. Sounds simple enough, right? And yet, that's only the start. Once the smiling muscle in our face contracts, there is a positive feedback loop that now goes back and forth between your brain and reinforces our feeling of joy. Smiling then seems to give us the same happiness that exercise induces. In short, our brain feels good and tells us to smile. We smile and tell our brain that it feels good, and so forth. What smiling does to our health? Smiling can change our brain. Through the powerful feedback loop we discussed above, and our brain keeps a track of your smiles, kind of like a smile scorecard. Once it knows how often you've smiled over the overall emotion state that you are in, and therefore smiling reduces stress to the body and the mind feels almost similar to getting good sleep. According to recent studies, smiling also helps to generate more positive emotions within you. That's why we often feel happier around children, because they smile more. On an average, children smile 400 times a day, while happy people only smile about 40 to 50 times a day. And the average people only smiles about 20 times a day. Why does it matter? Smiling leads to decrease in stress-induced hormones that create negativity and affect our physical and mental health. So friends, if you want to invite more happiness into your life, follow these principles and share with your friends and family. Realize the difference between pleasure and happiness and go ahead with the pursuit of happiness for a more fulfilling life. As well as the above obvious benefits of being a happier person, you'll enjoy many other, including building your confidence and boosting your self-esteem, developing a stronger personal relationship, increased sense of self-worth and self-belonging. Do comment down below on what you think about this video and share your feedback. It would be a pleasure to listen to all your views so we can explore further the topic of pursuit of happiness. Do like and subscribe, and I hope you like this video. Thank you for watching.